See, a lot of niggas be wanting to know like how the politics work for Sacramento gang members, like going to the county, prison, and all that type of shit. And this is just my personal experiences and some stories I heard, after my time and all that type of shit that I left the pen and all that shit. But from my perspective, you feel me, and just from the history of just how this shit break down and etc. Just diving into it though. But back in the days, like early '90s, like '90s and early 2000s, up until like 2011, 12, 13, and all that shit, you know, a lot of shit changed. But see, the east of County Jail and Sac is Bloods, and then the west is Crips up into the '90s, early 2000s, and like 2012 and all that 13 is when shit changed. So, but back then, the east side, every blood hood from Sac went to the east. On the west, every Crip hood from Sac went to the west. And then, like, as time went by and niggas start, cliques and all that shit, and different gangs and fractions start breaking down and subsets and all that type of shit start splitting, you feel me? And now even Bloods will be on the west side with Crips, and, but it's not the same for the east. And that's because, you feel me, a lot of old park niggas, a lot of Zilla niggas is the majority of niggas on the east. And they in the big, gang war on the streets, Zilla and Stars and all that shit. And they predominantly like the most numbered gang in Sacramento, them two, the head top, you feel me, gangs that numbers and beef and all that type of shit. So how the shit break down, you feel me? Like my hood, we Bloods and shit, the manners, so we fuck with the P and all that type of shit, and that's just how it go. And it's crazy how that even come about, because like our enemies is next door from us, but they fuck with the P enemies, so it's weird how they even work. But that's how I go, and that's how I've been going. So they on the west side too now, as of now, you feel me? Like shit been happening in the streets and all that type of shit, allegedly, you feel me? So they be on the west side with the Crips too and all that type of shit, even though they're Bloods. But it's some niggas that, slip through the cracks and be on the east and shit happens and all that. But in the branch, 30 minutes out from the main jail, you feel me, is the branch. It's just one big gumbo pot. They'll throw a nigga wherever. But on the honor side, which I never been because I went straight to the pen, but on the honor side, it's all Bloods and they tripping on Crips, anything under that. You feel me? They niggas rolling shit up, niggas chunking them, all that. You feel me? But it's times that it could be more enemies that happen to be in jail around that time, and they can be, be deeper in the pods and the barracks, whatever, and all that type of shit. But for the most part, you feel me, it's a lot of P niggas and shit like that. But where I was at, it used to be 448 North, which is JKF, 6 pods, 100 pods, 200, 3, 4, and 6. You feel me? And it's times, nigga, my pod be full of homies, you feel me? The next pod over could be full of enemies, you feel me? And sometimes they might throw a homie over there freshly coming to the branch and, niggas, get them up, and that's how I go. And they might throw a nigga in our pod and nigga, we on him and all that type of shit. So moving along, into prison and shit, as far as like reception, like Tracy, because I went to Tracy and it was only like one homie there. I sent a lot of homies out. there was a lot of Stockton niggas. That was Crips and shit there. But by the time I got there, we came like 8 niggas deep, the homies and shit, and then a lot of more homies start coming as time went by. So we had the whole wing, you feel me? Which was East Hall. We had that whole building on lock. It wasn't no enemy sliding through. We wasn't letting none of that. You feel me? But even when niggas did, we gave niggas the option, nigga, you gotta dip. You feel me? And they probably was doing the same thing in the other wings, whatever. And you know, that niggas was getting it up and all that shit. Cause like I said, it ain't too far. You're not too far removed from the county. And nigga, it's just reception, so it's just still up. But it's different once niggas get mainline and niggas way farther away and there's less homies and all that type of shit. So moving along to the mainline, like I went to Susanville and there was a lot of LA niggas. I ain't never been around so many Crips in my life. But, you know, even they be on the yard with their enemies and all that shit. And it's just a little different. Cause like even when I got to Susanville, it was P niggas there, and they was like the most niggas in our car, and it was like some Medivy niggas and shit like that. I was like the only nigga from my hood. But if a star nigga came on the yard or whatever, them niggas was tripping blood. They done jumped the nigga, all kind of shit. And niggas just carrying them habits, nigga. Like when I see a nigga, it's on type shit. But it's not always like that because it's times where you might have to be a cellmate with your inmate, you might have to be a cellmate with your enemy, excuse me. And, you know, I might chunk them still and still, like, have to be cellmates. But it's times niggas have to be back to back and gotta fight together and all that type of shit. And it's a lot of shit that little niggas don't know. That's why I'm, you know, trying to get his game up to niggas that ain't been and, you know, might unfortunately have to go through that situation of, you know, just street shit. You can't always, you know, get away with everything, and sometimes you gotta be up against all this shit. It all come with this gang life and just gangster shit, period. But, you know, that shit really humbling though, cause you really get to see like it's bigger than what you thought it was. Like, damn, like I gotta be cool with these niggas. Like, man, even if we fight, like it might be the nigga I like, we might fade, but the nigga I don't mean he bad. Like he ain't bad, he ain't a bitch, he ain't snitching, he ain't rolling it up, like none of that shit. Like, you know, and this our sack car, so we gotta still be together, even though I ain't gotta fuck with the nigga within the car, but still it just be niggas don't know that shit. Like the niggas you hate the most, you might see them niggas in the pen for real, and y'all might gotta save each other and all that type of shit. But, you know, shit still happens. You know, niggas still get jumped and all that type of shit just off of how our politics work. Just being sack niggas and we got our own rules within our own car. But for the most part, blood, niggas be needing the numbers, you feel me, to stay afloat in a land full of sharks, you feel me? And a lot of you little niggas that be watching me and all that type of shit don't know that. Don't know that's how that shit end up. Really be on a 4-yard, 3-yard with your enemies, nigga. You feel me? But now we're turning to niggas fighting for each other versus when niggas was fighting against each other. You know, cause it breaks down really into blacks, Mexicans, others, and whites and all that type of shit. It's deeper politics that's bigger than our politics because now it's prison rules. So, you know, but that's like, I'm gonna make this part 1 because that's how deep I'm gonna go, like, as of right now about the sack politics. But in the county, you know, niggas be trying to get they lick, period. In the branch, in the county, all that shit. But in the pen, a lot of shit changed, man. That's something that you little niggas need to know. And you feel me? Eventually, niggas will grow from that shit and, you know, sometimes change a nigga perspective on reality and what's really going on. but this my 10 minutes.